Does Ant or Cat need to step up more in Game 2 tonight to get it done?
No, they clearly both need to step up. Cat, because you're 6'11", and you don't need to be shooting 9 3-pointers. You know what? Y'all got outscored, what was it, 62-38 in the paint? What's that about? You can't let that happen. You're supposed to, you and Rudy Gobert, you're supposed to be down low patrolling. And if you're not scoring more points, you damn sure supposed to be limiting the 62 points that Dallas had in the paint area. That's what you're supposed to be doing. So definitely Cat's got to step up, no question about that. But Ant-Man does too. And here's the biggest reason why. You opened your mouth and you called out Kyrie Irving. Now, if Perk, Jay, because of how great Anthony Edwards is already and how great we anticipate him being, it is not a crime. But here's the point. If you're going to call out somebody like Kyrie, say you want him to guard you. Say you the one that's going to drop 40 or something like that. But to sit up there and say, I got him. You understand what I'm saying? I mean, this is not Kevin Hart talking smack and then looking at Lisa Leslie in the movie and saying, I got her. You know what I'm saying? This is not that. No, that's Kyrie Irving that you called out. You understand what I'm saying? One of the most explosive, brilliant, magical offensive talents this game has ever seen. And to call him out, say, I got him. Listen, I appreciated the question that Charles Barkley asked me the other day. Because if I was on the set with him, that's exactly the question I would have asked. How'd you feel when you sitting up there probably at home minding your business and you heard that question? And what did Kyrie say? You know, you're right. I was home with my family, just chilling out, minding my business, watching the game. And then I heard this brother mention me by name. That Kyrie is not the dude that you want to do that to in the sport of basketball. It's just not the wisest decision in the world. So Kyrie comes out there averaging 1.6 points per game in the first quarter of these playoffs. A grand total of 19 points in 12 playoff games. And what does he come out and do? Open and tap against Minnesota. He drops 24 in the first half. Puts on a show. I'm just saying, you Ant-Man, you got to respond to that because you woke up the lion. You got to respond to that. Of course, they got to respond collectively on the defensive side of the ball. But individually, no question, Ant-Man and Cat got to show up.
Well, I'm going to pick a side here. I'm going to go with Karl-Anthony Towns. When we talk about, elite bigs around the league, his name don't get mentioned enough because he don't make us mention it enough, right? He's in that same conversation with Anthony Davis. He's a top 5 talent in the NBA, one of the most skilled bigs in the NBA, especially on the offensive end. So when I'm looking at this matchup and I look at last series and what he's done in the postseason, both these past series, I'm looking at on the defensive side of things. He held Jokic to 42% shooting when he was guarding him. When he guarded Kevin Durant in the Phoenix series, he held him to 39% when he was guarding him. Offensively, look at the games that Minnesota win when Karl-Anthony Towns is at his best and really shining, right? And I understand you have to make the adjustments with this double big lineup because of the spacing. You have Rudy on the floor. It's kind of hard to run a turn 4 or punch 4 down to the low block because the paint is crowded. At the end of the day, I'm gonna give you a story. When I was with the Boston Celtics, 2009-2010 season, we had to face the Cleveland Cavaliers, and they had Antoine Jameson on them. Kevin Garnett, one of the most unselfish guys I ever played with. Doc walked into the locker room, Doc Rivers, and before that series started, he told Kevin Garnett in front of everybody, if we're going to win this series, we're going to have to go through you. You're going to have to shoot 20 to 25 times on the low block because he got the mismatch. When you look at who's guarding Karl-Anthony Towns, and I get it, P.J. Washington, he's not a small guy, he's not a scrub, but at the end of the day, Cat should dominate that matchup. He should dominate Jones. When Karl-Anthony Towns is at his best, Anthony Edwards has said it on record, when you're at your best, you are unstoppable, we are unstoppable. He can't go 6 for 20 again from the field.
Stephen A., let me see if I can sway you over on my side here, because at first I was with you on it being both. But then I kind of recognized that a team goes in the direction of its best player. And when the best player is talkative like Ant-Man is, which we appreciate him for his candor
We ain't
And
mad
the
at
fact
it.
that he reminds you of MJ and the way he goes at people, but in a fun manner. But, like, first off, you can't get up there in the post presser and talk about your team was gassed. You were gassed.
Yeah, we don't
Or
wanna hear
that
that.
we were flat. Nobody wants to hear that you were flat. Nobody wants to hear that you were gassed. And I get that he's a younger player, but this is the Western Conference Finals, right? So we're watching him grow up. But also there's a point that I think when the best player on a team who the guy is the most outspoken in those moments, then sets the tone that, yeah, and the reality is they were gassed. He did look tired. They did settle. They shot 49 threes, even though they have the advantage down low on the block. And Perk, you're right about Karl-Anthony Towns. But what I love about guards sometimes is that Anthony Edwards, a guy being talkative, nah, Karl-Anthony, get your ass down low on the block. Get down there and go to work. Be him. Be who you are. Stop settling for threes. No more excuses. And I do feel like for a guy that has gotten to the free throw line in one game in the fourth quarter out of the last 6 games, he's only gotten there one time in the fourth quarter in the last 6 games in the fourth quarter. Your best player, regardless of whether he's kind of in a slump right now, he's been in a slump over the last 4 or 5 games, hasn't been scoring to the level we've seen him score at earlier. It's a lot of this is on him because he put himself in that position, play-wise and talkative-wise. So I don't know, S.A., I know it's both, but at the end of the day, do you look at this as Karl-Anthony's team or is it Anthony Edwards' team? And we're talking about him being the face of the league. Now, this is what comes along with the responsibility of being that guy.
It's definitely Anthony Edwards' team. I'm not denying that. Even Karl-Anthony Towns would tell you that. What I would say, here's the big question. I mean, I'm not trying to make age as a part of it, but how the hell are you more exhausted than Kyrie Irving? You're 22 years old. He's 32. He got you by 10 years. And you look exhausted, and he didn't. How'd that happen?
What statement did Jaylen Brown make?
What statement he's been trying to make all postseason long, that he's the best player on the Boston Celtics. He's the best player on the Boston Celtics, and he's willing to stand on business. Last night was a prime example of a guy taking it personal and responding in great fashion. He may try to downplay it, but we could see it in his face that he was pissed off he didn't make an all-NBA team and how he handled it. All right, y'all take this 40 piece. You look at when, before the Cavs series, before that series started, Jaylen Brown was on record talking about how much the last time they played the Cavs, how much it haunted them because the Cavs and LeBron James sent them home. Had nothing to do with Donovan Mitchell. What'd he do in game 1? He come out and he handed them 32 points. This man right here has been consistently great throughout this postseason for the Boston Celtics, averaging around 25 points per game, shooting almost 55% from the field. And at times, we keep wondering, when is JT going to arrive? When can we put his name in the conversation with Luka and Anthony Edwards and things of that nature? And Jaylen Brown is saying, I'm sitting up here, I've been crying for a bottle. I've been crying for a bottle. Y'all gonna give me some Similac? Yeah, we got you, young fella. Yeah, we got you, young. Yeah, we got you, young fella. Here you go. And then look, another thing, that game winner in game 1. Usually, Missoula, he's drawing up a play for who? Jayson Tatum. That play happened to be for Jaylen Brown, right? 3 in the corner, send it into overtime. They go on to win the game.
Go ahead. Go ahead, Jay.
Jay.
Did you forget my name?
Jay Williams.
You tagged the wrong Jay Will on the thankful note, and then you just forgot my name.
Seriously.
Damn, Stephen
So
A.
messed
I
up.
just said,
What's
what's going on with you and I, man? What I miss? What I
Stephen
miss?
A. No, you did a pause.
What's
and
going
you
on,
never
man?
skip a beat.
Well, I was reading something, y'all. Damn.
We just want to get on your you-know-what. Oh, Stephen A. Wait for the end of the show, 'cause there's something else that might get on your you-know-what. Stay tuned for that, people.
You know, I got to tell
Jay.
y'all, when I read this question, and
Tell me.
I heard Big Perk's answer, it's almost what gets me really frustrated and angry about this. Because it's like, from the beginning, I feel like us in the media have always pitted these two against each other. And I'm not saying, Perk, that was your intention. But a lot of the conversation around these narratives are like, who's better? Who would you build a team around? Who has more clout? Who deserves more? And in my brain as a former player, I'm like, damn, these guys both need each other because they're fire and ice and both come to rise when you need them. Now, we haven't seen it hit his head to a championship level, But when Perky said we've been waiting for Jayson Tatum to hit the same level as like Luka, I'm like, well, he is first team All NBA. I mean, damn, he's been to more Eastern Conference Finals than Luka's been to Western Conference Finals. He's been to more NBA Finals than Luka's been to Finals. So I get that we're trying to always say it's always a black and white answer in the media where it's like we got to say one is better than the other. But like they both do different things. Like I say fire and ice because there are a lot of times where ice can help you get over the hump because sometimes you do need to be cool, calm, and collective in situations. Right. But also fire helps you in situations because sometimes you need fire to stoke your ass to get yourself to the next level. So why does it feel like we're always pitting these two against each other instead of recognizing the greatness that they both have and how they bring it to the table differently?
Well, Jay Williams.
Yes.
I know you are.
Oh, here we go.
Hey, look at that smile.
Right. Here's the deal, bro. We need to get on you and let you know we on the verge of calling you Dear Abby, okay? Because you, oh my Lord. I mean, why must we pit them against one another? Look, they're teammates. Jaylen Brown's been to 6 conference finals in 8 years. Jayson Tatum's been to 5 in 7 years. They both been to an NBA finals together. There's still no championship while they're wearing the Boston Celtics uniform. That's going to provoke questions as to why that is. If you're Jaylen Brown, to point at you, Perk, we got to remember, last year you down 0-3. You come back, you win 3 straight. You force a game 7. Jayson Tatum gets hurt very early. That put the onus on Jaylen Brown, and he didn't respond. Now, the year before, when they win the finals against Golden State, he did respond, and Jayson Tatum didn't. So, yes, and then, not only that, the astute basketball mind that is Jay Williams was on morning radio. He was on Get Up. He was on First Take throughout these last couple of years. And in dissecting basketball said, yo, it's my turn, it's your turn. At some point in time, they got to show they could play together, and we're not seeing that. You said that. Yes, I can get the tape for you now, and I know you said that, so I don't need to. Big Perk, you've alluded to that as well. What I'm saying is that we don't see 2 stars feeding off of one another, then we judge them accordingly. We judge them individually because individually is how they perform. Now, we could look at Joe Mazzulla and say, what you gonna do about that? If at all, could you figure out something? We all believe, I think we all believe, if Ime Udoka was still coaching this team, Boston might be champions by now, right now. They might have won last year. So we look at it from that standpoint. All I'm saying is, Jaylen Brown, we know he could play and we know he's a star. Jayson Tatum, we know he's a star. But when you're wearing a Boston Celtics uniform and you don't have a title to show for it, after knocking on the door so close over the last 6, 7, 8 years, it's going to provoke questions as to why the hell can't that happen? And you can't answer that question without mentioning one of the 2 names. You just can't, Jay.
Especially after the performance that he had last night, right? And what he's been doing in the postseason. And we brought up the topic at the start of the show about, is he underrated and underappreciated? I'm not trying to pin the 2 cause a wedge or make them, separate the 2.
I didn't say you were, Perk.
No. But I'm saying, but I've been on record saying that it's time to break them up. And damn it, if they don't get it accomplished this season, we're going to have to revisit that conversation later down the line.
Try to boast at what I look like. Think I'm going to where I pull up all brains. Jimmy with the heat, I'm on fire. It's 88 over here,